Sorry about the lack of audio earlier. This is an information session to discuss the second session that Make School is going to be offering this summer. The Summer Academy has already started. We are in the 4th week of the Summer Academy. And on Monday, so in 5 days, a new group of students is joining us. And I assume that some people listening either are planning on joining us on Monday and want more information on what to expect, or are considering joining us on Monday and want to find out more about the Summer Academy. So if at any time you have any questions, there is a Q&A tab. If you highlight your screen and click on it, you'll be able to see an area where you can post questions. And if at any time I see a question pop up while I'm talking, that is a question I'm prepared to answer, I will pause and answer your question. So feel free to post questions at any time. And you can also upvote people's questions at a little +1 if you agree with their question, want to make sure that I answer that question. So the Summer Academy is currently being offered in 5 locations. It started 3.5 weeks ago in San Francisco, in Sunnyvale, which is in the Silicon Valley, in Los Angeles, in New York, and in Singapore. And we're unbelievably excited to have our first Los Angeles session as well as our first ever international location running in Singapore. So really, really exciting for Make School, and really wonderful to see how the first 3.5 weeks have gone. We have students who are enrolled in our 8-week programs, so who are halfway through. They're just now starting to build their independent projects. Those are students who are in our VR track, and the stuff they're making is amazing. Students who are in the games and apps tracks are also enrolled for 8 weeks, just starting to make their own independent projects. Really, really cool stuff. And then the students who are enrolled in Intro for 4 weeks are spending their last week building a small original app or game to show off their learnings. And what's coming out of that is unbelievable as well. And the students are having such an amazing time that a number of the students who are enrolled originally for our 4-week intro session are actually staying for 8 weeks. So they've chosen to extend their enrollment for the whole summer. So I'd like to discuss what to expect if you're joining us next Monday, what programs we are offering, and what the Make School summer experience is going to be like if you join us for our second session. The first thing to know is that the second session is being offered in San Francisco, in Silicon Valley, so that's a Sunnyvale location, in Los Angeles, in New York, as well as in Hong Kong and in Taipei. It is not being offered in Singapore. So Singapore had a session 1, but won't have a session 2. In a week from now, we will also have Tokyo starting, so a week later than the other second sessions, for a total of 7 second sessions that you can join. The tracks available are the 4-week intro course, which is a little bit shorter at international locations. And I want to discuss what to expect from that program, what it covers, and what you'll be able to do by the end of it. It is a course that is taught in Swift in the context of app and game development for iOS. So it's teaching you how to make apps or games in a sort of from the fundamentals way. It assumes you've never programmed before, and the primary focus of the course is on teaching you programming concepts. So making sure that the things that most programming languages have in common, the core fundamentals of programming, we teach you how to do and how to understand. This is the necessary knowledge to go out and take any sort of intermediate or more advanced course later in the future. Taking our intro course would prepare you for later taking our games, apps, or virtual reality courses if you wanted to come back to Make School in the future. So it's the perfect preparation for future Make School classes, as well as for intermediate and advanced content, both in physical schools as well as online. We're going to cover such concepts as object-oriented programming, and everything that depends on, so understanding how variables work, how functions work, how conditionals work, how loops work. And then we're also going to learn about the basics of iOS development frameworks, how to make simple games and apps, how to work with APIs. You're going to spend 3 of the 4 weeks learning programming and iOS development through guided tutorials. And the last week will be for an independent project, where students will be able to take what they learned and make a simple app or simple game. And that's what the students who are enrolled in the intro course right now are doing. So if you're joining us for the intro course on Monday, the thing you need to know is what address to show up at, and make sure that you have a Mac with the latest version of OS X and the latest version of Xcode installed. Xcode is a free app that you can find on the App Store on a Mac. So some people don't realize this, but your Mac actually has an App Store app. And inside the Mac App Store, there is an app called Xcode, spelled Xcode, one word. It's free. You should have it downloaded, or you must have it downloaded before the first day of classes on Monday. So in the next 5 days, if you're an intro student joining us on Monday, make sure that you have a Mac, that you know what address to show up at, and you have Xcode downloaded. If you want to find the address of your particular location, we have a short URL that has all of the information you need about every single Make School location. That URL is make.sc/generalinfo. And we'll make sure to have it emailed out to anyone who is admitted to the second session so that you can go find that URL, get all the information you need on the address and what to bring. If there's any questions about session 1, I'd invite the viewers to please post it on the sidebar. And otherwise, I'm going to tell you about a new program we're offering in our second session that we were not offering in the past. So in addition to the introductory course that is being offered starting next Monday that students can enroll in, we are also offering a condensed version of our apps or games curriculum. So in the past 4 years, Make School has offered 8-week summer courses where students enroll for a 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week, 8-week class. And that is currently running right now. Students are in their 4th week out of 8. Starting on Monday, we're going to offer an adaptation of that 8-week curriculum as a 4-week course. The primary reason for this is that a lot of admits and students who are qualified to take that course, so who possess the introductory to intermediate knowledge needed to qualify for our intermediate to advanced class, a lot of those people had other plans this summer that took up part of their summer availability. And we had so much demand for people who still wanted to come but were not available the last few weeks that we decided to offer a condensed option, and we are seeing a ton of students getting admitted and registering for that program. The major difference between the 4-week and the 8-week program is that we expect that you will have completed the Make School tutorials before you come to the 4-week program. So if you're intending on attending the games or apps track that is 4 weeks long, you will have gotten access to all of our materials online already. If you haven't, you should contact us at hello@makeschool.com immediately. We will give you free access to the entire curriculum, and we will expect you to have it completed by next Monday. Now, if you can't get through all of it, it's not a disaster. We have a lot of instructors that we're shifting towards teaching these second session students who are coming, and so we expect to be able to support you and make sure that you can catch up if you're not fully done with those tutorials. But you should make it a priority, if you're going to join us for the second 4-week session to take the apps or games course, to have those tutorials done before you start next Monday. The students then who join the second session, so the 4-week long apps or games course, will focus their time on building an original app or game of their own creation. So on week 1, you're going to start brainstorming, as well as reviewing the content that you completed before coming with the instructors. And by the end of week 1, beginning of week 2, you're going to start building an original app or game. And so at the end of the 4-week course, you will join the main app and game students who have been here for 8 weeks at the same demo day event where we invite friends, family, and industry contacts to celebrate your progress and the apps that you've created. So the students who join the second session apps or games course are getting access to the same end of program experience as students who've been enrolled in the full 8-week course. And we're hoping that you can all pick up where the students are at by doing the pre-work before you start on Monday. We have a question in the sidebar: can I come visit to see what the students have built before I decide whether or not to come for session 2? And the answer is yes. If you would like to come visit Make School, the one closest to you, so that would be San Francisco, Sunnyvale, Los Angeles, or New York that are running right now, you can email hello@makeschool.com, get introduced to the lead instructor at the location you want to visit, and arrange for a time to drop by, meet the students before you decide whether or not to enroll for next Monday. If you are enrolled or intending to attend the Hong Kong or Taipei sessions, there is unfortunately no way to arrange a visit because the students in those locations have not arrived yet, and those locations actually start for the first time next Monday. But if you are in the United States and you want to come visit a location, you're more than welcome to join us at the end of this week before coming next week. Even if you're for sure coming, feel free to come by and join us. On Friday, end of day, we'll be organizing a demo session and celebration for all the students who have completed the intro course. And so if you want to come see what students have built, the best time to come is Friday at the end of the day. We'll send out an invitation to everyone so that you can swing by if you're available. And every intro student at every location will be presenting what they made. And the students in other tracks will also be available to show you sort of their intermediary progress. They still have 4 more weeks, so their apps are really, really in the early stage. But if you want to interact with them, ask them how the experience is like, and get a sense for what they're building already, some of them will be around as well to talk to you. So Friday end of day is the best time. You'll get an invitation, and we'd love to see people come by. Even if you know that you're coming for sure, it'll be a really fun event to check out and celebrate what the students in the first session of Intro have built. With that, I'd like to invite our viewers again to post any questions they have in the sidebar, and want to reiterate the information that I gave in case some of you joined our chat late. We are in the 4th week of the first session of Make Schools course. Things are going incredibly well with students building amazing apps across all the tracks that they're enrolled in. We're having a celebration this Friday at the end of the day for the students in our first introductory session to show off what they have made. And we are offering a second introductory session that starts next Monday. So if you've never programmed before, you should join us next Monday for our first intro session. If you've applied and been admitted and have some last questions before you enroll, you can come visit us on Friday, or you can send an email to hello@makeschool.com. And if you have not applied yet, have not been admitted yet, then we'd encourage you to go to makeschool.com/apply, submit an application, and we are still accepting students for our second session, introductory course, starting on Monday. If you have programmed before, you have a background, you've taken an introductory class or intermediate class in high school, in university, or beyond, we welcome you. The second session course is designed for you, and it's going to be 4 weeks long, apps focused if you're more advanced, games focused if you're more intermediate. And again, if you've been admitted to that and you have some more questions, come visit us on Friday or send us an email. And if you haven't applied yet, we invite you to apply at makeschool.com/apply, and there are still spots left for that course as well. And that, again, that's for students who have some programming background. We have a couple of questions in the sidebar. What's the average age of attendance in session 1/2? Are they mostly in college or high school? The answer is, broadly speaking, yes. About 80% of students are in high school or college, and about 20% of students are older. So a lot of the students, I'd say, are between the ages of 16 and 20, towards the end of high school or beginning of university, with a number of students who are younger and a lot of students who are older. It also depends on the track, with students that are introductory courses being on average a little bit younger, whereas students, for example, in our VR course being primarily older. Almost, I think none of them are still in college. All of them are post-college. So it ranges a spectrum from younger students to older students depending on the track and on the location. Generally, and in the history of Make School, we've seen that combining different ages has been a wonderful experience for all students involved. Even within the same track, like the apps track, we have students who are as young as 13 and as old as 53 who have studied side by side. And with our instructors who themselves have industry experience and are at a level where they can instruct students at a variety of experience levels, it's been a really wonderful experience. And the mixing of perspectives and of ages, actually, I feel, is one of the beautiful aspects of Make School that isn't often found elsewhere. By grouping students by their experience level as opposed to by their age, you get folks who are ready to engage as peers when it comes to programming, but come from different generations and can provide different perspectives. Another question is, what was my major? So my personal educational background is a little bit interesting. I went to MIT. I was a student at MIT for 2 full years, where I started as a computer science student, but was frustrated with my computer science classes. The curriculum at MIT had not and has not been updated since 2007 for computer science. And so what I was going through felt pretty old school and also pretty disconnected from my career goals. So I decided to continue teaching myself programming while switching out of the programming or computer science major. So even though I continued to code, I switched into media studies and math. So I was taking a lot of media studies classes and a lot of math classes. And at MIT, when I was there, the media studies classes were things like video game design, which was awesome. So I was having a blast with that, taking video game design courses, abstract math courses, things like real analysis, functional analysis, and ultimately decided to leave MIT to start Make School, because as I looked forward after having completed 2 years at the classes I would have to take for the next 2, I wasn't really excited. And I felt like I had taken most of the classes I really wanted to take. And I would just be going through the motions to get enough credits to get a degree. And it didn't feel right. And I had another opportunity on the table, some funding to come out to the Silicon Valley and start what has become Make School. And so decided to do that. So I first started programming when I was in high school. I did 3 years of programming in high school, started in computer science at MIT, switched into media studies and math, switched away from all of that, and now started my own school. The event that really led me to leave MIT, by the way, was the fact that I launched my own app on the App Store with a few friends, and that app got featured by Apple. And that got enough attention that I realized that through my personal projects, I was building things that were teaching me more and were more exciting and impactful than what I was doing at school. And so when I had to decide between staying in school and going to class and making one professor happy by getting a good grade on my homework, or build real things, launch them, and get real people using them, I chose the second option. And over time, as I started making my own apps, I started teaching others how to make apps. And then we ran our first summer academy in 2012. And 5 years or 5 summer academies later, here we are with hundreds of students in 5 different cities, with 3 more starting in the next 10 days, for a total of 8 Make School locations all across the world. So that's a short summary of the Make School story from when I started college in 2009 to when I left college in 2011 to when we ran our first summer academy in 2012. I hope that answered your question. All right. Well, I'm going to give a last call for any people who have final questions, but we're butting up against the time we had allotted for the info session. So we'll give another 30 seconds, 1 minute for people to post any last questions. And otherwise, again, the important links are make.sc/generalinfo, which I will post right now in the chat tab. That is make.sc/generalinfo. And if you have any questions because you've applied, have been admitted, and don't know certain piece of information you need before you can come on Monday, or you haven't applied yet, you have some more questions before you apply, you can always email hello@makeschool.com. To reiterate, we are offering an introductory session in 6 different cities: San Francisco, Sunnyvale, Los Angeles, New York, Taipei, and Hong Kong, as well as an apps and games track. The introductory apps and games tracks are all 4 weeks long. Those are being offered, the apps and games tracks, only in the United States. That's San Francisco, Sunnyvale, Los Angeles, and New York. And we still have some spots. We're expecting over 100 new students to be joining us on Monday, but there's still some seats, and if you want to join them, do let me know. With that, I'm doing a final check of the Q&A tab, and it looks like we have one more question. Can you describe Demo Day a little? How does it differ between locations? Gabriella, awesome question. So we have Demo Day as a primary celebration for what students have created. That means an opportunity for their friends and family to come and see what they've done. And in every Demo Day, students are selected by the audience and by a panel of industry experts to present on stage. So some number of students will get the opportunity to present to everyone, whereas other students will just have a booth in a room, and guests can mill around and come and visit every student individually. So everyone gets to have their own table and show off their own app, and some students also get to go on stage. The main difference between locations is who the industry partners are that show up. So in San Francisco and in Sunnyvale, we have Silicon Valley companies that are sending representatives to come. In Los Angeles, we have folks from Los Angeles tech companies. In New York, from New York tech companies. In Singapore, from the Singapore tech scene. And of course in Taipei, Hong Kong, and Tokyo, from their respective tech scenes as well. Make School is incredibly well connected worldwide. We have investors from the major US and Asian tech ecosystems. About half of Make School's funding comes from the United States, with investors and industry partners who are well connected in Los Angeles, New York, and Silicon Valley. And our alumni are currently employed and working at companies in San Francisco area, Silicon Valley area, New York, and Los Angeles area. And additionally, another half of Make School funding actually comes from Asia. A lot of it from Japan, from investors who are active primarily in the Tokyo and Singapore tech markets, with strong connections in Hong Kong and in Taipei. So when I go to Taipei and when I go to Hong Kong, there's a number of companies that share investors with Make School that are headquartered there, as well as a number of investors themselves who have invested in Make School, who have partners stationed in those cities. So when it comes to arranging invites for Demo Day, we can get people from the local tech ecosystem in every city that we operate in to come. Everything from engineers to founders to investors coming either as guest speakers during the program or attending the Demo Day. So the feel and purpose of the event is the same across all locations, with the primary difference being the sort of industry component and who comes from the local tech area. All right. Let me ask my colleague whether there's any topics that he feels I should cover that I didn't cover.
You've got it. I would point out that there are Mac rentals and housing options still available for as little as 4 weeks.
Great.
And those are also available in the same document that you linked.
Great. So thanks, Gabriella. I hope I answered your question. If everyone navigates to the chat tab and you see the make.sc/general info, you will also find information on housing options. We still have housing options available for certain locations for as few as 4-week increments. So it's quite hard to find housing in some of the areas that we operate in. We understand that, and we can hook you up with a great deal for a 4-week period. So if that's the last blocker, do check the general info document for information there. And if you don't have a Mac, we also have contact information for companies that can rent you a Mac. So if you want to lease a Mac, do go to make.sc/general info. You'll also find information on how to get your hand on a Mac for the course of the program. So hopefully you understand that housing, having a Mac should not be blockers. If there's any more questions, you email hello@makeschool.com. And one last time, I'd like to tell you what to bring on Monday. A Mac with Xcode installed, which is a free app that is available on the Mac App Store. It's spelled Xcode, and you need it installed before you come on day 1 on Monday. With that, I think we're all set to wrap up our QA session. It was wonderful having the opportunity to connect with you all. My personal email is Jeremy, Jeremy, @makeschool.com. And if you have any further questions for me specifically, feel free to reach out. And I hope this was helpful, and I look forward to meeting as many of you as possible on Monday or beyond. I will personally be visiting all of our locations in Asia, and so if you happen to be enrolling in Taipei, Tokyo, or Hong Kong, I will be there to meet you. And of course, if you come to the Silicon Valley, we'll get to meet as well. So I look forward to getting a chance to see you. If you have any more questions, please do get in touch, and let us know if there's anything else we can help you with. Look forward to seeing you on Monday. Thank you.